Morning, everyone. So, God, you make me feel so dumb with all this information, Brian. You know, I draw cars. You know, we talk real basic language where I come from. Perhaps some of you are familiar with the latest sort of trend with regard to Hyundai design. I won't go on and on about this, but essentially we're not looking for a family look any longer. This Russian doll sort of aspect where, you know, it's pretty much the same sort of design, the same sort of look in different sizes. Rather than that, we're working with more of this idea of the concept of chess pieces, where there's sort of a base that's common, but essentially each piece has its own role to play, right? And so today we're talking about the King. And this is the flagship, of course, for Hyundai. There has been no other vehicle in its class for our lineup. We've not done full-size SUVs. We've not done, you know, full-size trucks or trucks in general. And so this is sort of new territory for us. When we do research, we get a ton of information from HMA. We get a ton of information from Korea. And it's quite overwhelming sometimes, and we have to piece this stuff together. My secret with the team is to make it personal. I know that a design is really successful when it can get really personal for a designer to be involved with it. The character of the car comes out much stronger. So I asked the guys to sort of bring in photographs of their family outings, and I'm going to go a little bit analog here because these are some shots of the past, of shots even before some of these designers were born. Here's one of the guys' 1961 road trip. They have these memories that are just so clear in their backgrounds. These big packs that are on top of the vehicles. We're talking about a vehicle that, you know, sort of takes care of your family. Here's one of our color designers' great grandmother over here, and this is a huge family, and they're on their way to Durango, Mexico here. One of our interior managers, Andrew, is 1976. He's in Afghanistan with a 1973 Range Rover out in the middle of the desert. Here's one of our younger clay modelers, Cole, 1989, washing his father's Suburban. Last year, one of our design managers, Brad, and his wife went out to the desert with the one vehicle that he has. And then this was just recently. He's expanding his family, obviously. And so the idea is that we're talking about the same people that change as they gain family members. They add children to their lives, but they're still wanting to do these cool things. Julian here digging out a car in Mammoth Mountain. He'll never forget this memory of helping his father digging the car out, right? Kind of a little funnier one here of Liz, one of our color material managers. This was what was important to them, having enough beer in the back of their station wagon. But of course everybody can kind of relate to this. I don't know if you can kind of see this, but this whole back of this wagon is full of children. And I remember sitting in the way back. We used to call it the way back. And it was just a fantastic thing. And we all recognize this scene. I don't know, you know, looking in the rearview mirror, and pretty much everybody but the driver is asleep in the vehicle, right? Are we there yet? So we dug up we put together this poster, and we dug up all these images from the 1950s and the 60s, and they all sort of have the same kind of vibe to them relative to sort of an optimism and a helpfulness and a bravery that was involved with these vehicles. And we thought that if everyone could relate to this, if all the designers could relate to this, we would get a much more strongly charactered kind of a vehicle. So getting back to the PowerPoint here, this was basically the original theme board for what came out of all of that research, and the designer here, Mikola, put together this analogy of a Rubik's Cube, the solidity, the puzzle-like interlocking features of it, and he thought this would be a really good theme for what we wanted to do. Again, it's about strength, it's about robustness, it's about, stability. So I'm gonna draw here a little bit. earlier sketches. None of the things that I'm showing you here are really actual pictures of the car. I wanted to eliminate. You'll see the real car, so that's not important. But you can see the quadrant relative to where we positioned the car in confident, utility, and rugged. These were early sketches. You can see some of the things without a C pillar, but a D pillar, and the clipping structural thing here. You can see our difference between the Kona Santa Fe and Palisade headlight. And then this is sort of a early design presentation concept board relative to the facial expression that we wanted to achieve, and this sort of gator eye kind of thing. And here's some more of the finished renderings that were done at some point, where you can see the garnishment around the DLO and the belt line, the clipping action around the wheel arches, which is a more refined, smaller version of what was happening with the Kona. So we have some elements, some signature elements that balance out between the vehicles, but we definitely wanted to have a very different looking car. So much better sketches. This is the actual designer, Mikola. And as far as the interior is concerned, well, it's pretty simple. The serenity of a yacht, I think it's pretty apropos that we're, I've got this teak table, we've got this houseboat out on this pleasant lake. You guys can understand this. So some of the beautiful renderings and sketches that were relative to the interior, so I won't go back on that too much. And that's pretty much it for me. And I look forward to hearing your questions a little bit later. Thank you very much.